Welcome back to my reptile room. Behold, it's coming along. We actually have enclosures in here now. I think about a third, by next week, when I move 4 leopard geckos, a third of the animals from my home in Indiana will be here at my home in Michigan. So we have a lot going on. And there's some enclosures behind me here too. And that's not all of them. We still have quite a few more to assemble and to move. In addition to having to move more, I actually have had issues with tanks leaking, with like the floor not being level and like the water sections in tanks spilling out into the other side, into the landslide, having to fix that. And we've had to like really figure out how to do these shelves perfectly because the enclosures fit like extremely flush with them. It's been a whole time, but I'm happy to say, like I said, by next week, a third of the animals that I have will be here. And that's really exciting. So today's video is an introduction to 4 goldfish that I have had for a few months now. It is a very overdue video, but I just have not filmed. Like, I'm wearing Ben's shirt, I'm freshly washed, but nothing else has happened. Like, there hasn't been any me time in a long time. But if I don't film this intro or an update to what's been happening down here, you're not gonna know. So here's your update and an intro to meeting my 4 goldfish. If you would like a more sit-down, chatty, vloggy video about what has been happening the last few months here for me personally and also in the reptile room, let me know. If you would like to see your name featured here in the reptile room, originally I was like, oh, it's going to be on a filming wall. Well, I have too many animals for that. I had to use the filming wall for enclosures. So I think I'm going to put it above one of the tanks over here. You know what I'm saying? And then I'll just show it in the videos. But if you would like your name on the reptile room wall, there's information on how to get that down below. I also ask that you please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that good stuff. You know, I feel bad, honestly, for people who do because I haven't posted recently, but I will be posting again more often someday once this room is finally done. So if you would like to be there for that monumentous moment, please hit the bell. And away we go, meet my fish. So you've met my goldfish, Tony and Carmela. Tony is the fantail and Carmela is the singletail. Their 3-gallon, yes, 3-gallon tank was placed for sale on Facebook Marketplace about a year ago, and I had just been talking to Ben about what to put in our cycled 45-gallon tank. And fortunately, I did see them because they did not belong in a 3-gallon tank. I reached out to the seller and offered to take the fish too, since he didn't even buy them in the first place. He wanted the tank that they came in, that little 3-gallon, and then I guess changed his mind. Since then, Tony and Carmela have grown tremendously, and I knew long-term they would be happiest with tank mates, especially since I would have to likely separate Carmela to give her an outdoor pond best suited for a single-tail, non-fancy goldfish. Because I prefer to only get animals from situations of rescue, adoption, and rehoming, I checked rehoming groups and Craigslist. Eventually, I came across 3 blind goldfish. I was instantly, and when I say instantly, I mean instantly, set on them and contacted their former owner who worked at the store where the young goldfish had their eyes ripped out by another fish in the tank. Their former owner brought them home to treat their wounds and eventually rehome them. The 3 fantails were then joined by an eyeless Aranda as I prepared a cycled quarantine tank. On April 29th, Ben and I drove a couple hours east of where I live now to collect them and bring them home to their 40-gallon quarantine tank. It is admittedly bare, but considering they have no eyes and it's a quarantine tank, I thought better to start out with less and work our way up to see what they can handle. These 4 fish have 2 sponge filters, weekly water changes, and sinking pellets daily, and because of that, they've already grown so much. I will address one issue that I had because I believe in transparency and also benefiting the community with my experience, the way that other people's experiences have bettered my keeping. So because the goldfish are blind, I was concerned that if I didn't feed them enough, and there's 4 of them, that like one of them would be able to get to all of it before the others did. So I actually overfed them. And when you overfeed fish, it can cause a nitrate spike in the tank. And you don't want that to happen. I did notice it, luckily, because I do check the water parameters with a testing kit. And so then I was like, okay, I know how to fix this. I just have to feed them less and trust that they'll be able to find it all. And it all worked out. It's actually really good that goldfish have such a good sense of smell because As soon as I put the food in the water, they know it's there. Not only can they feel it, but they can smell it, and they find it really easily, which I would think is a common question people will probably have when they see that my goldfish don't have eyes. Yeah, they find their food with no problem. The only problem that I might have is when I combine these blind goldfish with my sighted goldfish, Tony and Carmela. But I anticipate that because I'm going to wait until the blind goldfish are sizable, I shouldn't have too much of an issue. They're all going to be fed well, and I'm sure that they'll all be able to find food. And plus, I'll be keeping an eye on them, and if anyone needs a little bit of extra feeding, I'll be able to do that. I'm plenty used to hand feeding animals. So as you may have gathered, my goldfish, Tony and Carmela, are named after the characters from The Sopranos, and in wanting to keep the theme of my goldfish having names from TV shows, I kind of put that out into my Instagram stories, and someone said that I should name them after the Golden Girls because there's 4 of them and they're goldfish, and I thought that was genius. So let me introduce you to the Golden Girls. The big red and white fantail is Dorothy. She's the strongest, the quickest, which I think works for Dorothy because she's quick with a comeback, she's tall, she's smart. Next we have the calico fantail, who I have named Blanche because Blanche is the flirt of the group, very into her appearance. And the calico has these like super long fins that are super pretty and has like some reflective scales. It's definitely giving I'm the prettiest vibes. Something interesting to know about Blanche is that she has a fused top fin. It's a birth defect that some fantails have and is usually frowned upon by breeders. The only issue that it can cause for her is slower swimming, but considering she's in a tank with fellow blind fantails and she's of a similar size to them, she should be okay. Up next is another calico fantail, but her fins and overall size make her the smallest in the group, and that's why I'm calling her Rose. In Golden Girls, Rose is the one in the group that is often sweeter or seemingly less intelligent, but she definitely had her moments. I thought she fit the smallest of the group because at times Rose is a chill fish, and at other times she'll push the other fish out of the way for food. And lastly, we have Sophia, the only Aranda of the group. It felt fitting that the matriarch of the squad be a little different from the rest, just like Sophia was older than the rest. Plus, I thought that their hair would match. She's mostly orange and white Aranda with 2 black spots, one on her wen and one on her tail fin. I was a little nervous about taking on an Aranda because their wen can grow over their eyes, but Sophia doesn't have any eyes to be concerned about. All 4 of these beautiful and resilient goldfish will be some of the last animals to make the move to Kalamazoo. At the time of recording, there are currently over 20 animals that have made the move, with more moving every weekend. But I want to give the Goldies as much time as they need to grow before moving them to Kalamazoo. And when they do get moved to Kalamazoo, they'll be in a separate tank as long as they need to be until they are the right size to join Tony and Carmela. You can rest easy knowing that I will do whatever is necessary for these goldfish. And I also want to say thank you if you're watching this video, because I know a lot of you are here for like reptiles, amphibians, lizards, frogs, more specifically white tree frogs, and sometimes geckos. But I really appreciate anyone who is interested in my goldfish journey because I love keeping goldfish. I love keeping aquatics in general. And I know it might not be everyone's cup of tea and that might not be how people found me. But if you're investing in this content, if you're interested in it, I'm so happy. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I'm sorry I'm not posting more regularly. I promise that will not last forever. I hope you enjoyed meeting my blind goldfish, Dorothy, Rose, Blanche, and Sophia. I'll be making the move here soon. I'm really excited about that. I just have to get the 90-gallon going for my current goldfish, and then they'll be taking the goldfish's currently cycled 45-gallon. And then eventually, when they're big enough, they will all live together, and it'll be such a good time. And I'm so excited to have the goldfish upstairs because I get to see them when I'm like, you know, hanging out in the guest bedroom and stuff. And anyways, I'm just really excited about them being up there. There was no room for them down here because I have a lot of animals, and giving them all proper upgrades. This entire wall, and this one too. Leopard geckos. Anyways, I'll see you guys on the next one. I don't know when that will be. I appreciate your patience. Bye.